All right, neat and tidy. I brushed my teeth today, so it's a good thing. All right, we'll edit that out, right? Hello and welcome to the Sias du Plessis show. Big shout out to our partners at Betway. Check out betway.co.za for more. We've got the Betway SA20 coming up. We've, of course, got the Betway Premiership underway. Lots going on, so don't miss out on any of the action. A big thank you to everyone that has liked and subscribed to the show. Ray, my executive producer, is always thrilled to see new subscribers liking the page. Welcome, of course, if this is your first time. We promise you'll be entertained watching the Sias du Plessis show. Now, with me today is someone that I've always admired, and I know Ray and I have spoken about it often. We've followed her career, Ray, now I think since 2016 we've been following KG's career. KG, it's been a wild ride, to say the least. But firstly, congratulations on all your achievements. Thank you for making time during this festive season to come and hang out at the studio. You're always welcome. We're huge fans. We'll need an autograph, please, at the end of the show. But how would you sum up 2024? It's been a year of highs and a year of lows.
Yeah, definitely, hi to your viewers, and yeah, they must like and subscribe. Well.
Did you get that? Ray? There's an official endorsement from KG. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like you said, there's been like highs and lows, but it's been quite a pretty good year, in terms of, my career. Even though on a personal level, it hasn't been a great one. It's just a year to really, embrace with what it came with. I would have loved it to be better. But one thing in life, we don't really choose what we really needed to happen. So, yeah, only God decide. So for me, it's just 1 year that I'm going to embrace, and for most of the things that happened this year, it's just one of those things that I will live with forever. And for me to be able to bounce out of it and move forward is just to embrace it.
KG, for those of you who don't know, is a multiple Grand Slam winning wheelchair tennis player. She's been ranked in doubles and #1, currently #2 in doubles in the world rankings, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, I think so.
But you're legit, KG. You are our pioneer for the sport in South Africa and for Africa. And I think sometimes when I watch you play in these Grand Slams, and I know Australia is around the corner, I kind of feel there's a South African flag draped on your, even if it's symbolic, but there's also the African continent that you're representing each time you go out and play. And, I think there's an immense pride every time you take to the court. Is that a fair statement, that you're incredibly proud to be representing not just South Africa, but the African continent?
Yeah, most definitely. Because if you know a sport like tennis, it's not a lot of us from Africa who are really, taking part in that sport at that high level. You can think of me, in wheelchair tennis. You can think of Ons in the able-bodied circuit. Yeah. Beyond that, who else do we have? We don't really have, much people from Africa. So you can imagine the amount of pride I carry when I go into these tournaments or in these Grand Slams, because that's where, we have to showcase our talent from Africa, just to show the world that we are also as talented and as capable as other countries. So it is with great pride to really represent the continent, because I think for what we're doing, we just want to inspire the new generation to also pick up the racket, for them not to feel like they don't belong in a sport like tennis. It can be done. Because I feel like with the representation, when one sees something, that can spark interest. So that's what I do. That's what I do, hoping for change, hoping for the best, hoping someone out there can just pick up the racket and feel like they can do it too. It doesn't matter where they're coming from in Africa.
KG, you're doing an amazing job, so keep up the hard work. I've seen how hard you train week in, week out, day in, day out, hour after hour. There's several challenges, obviously, from wheelchair tennis, from funding to coaches to all sorts of things, and we'll unpack that as we go. but I want to know where it started for you. That first time you hit a tennis ball and fell in love with the sport.
Look, where it all started, it's not even where I wanted to be. I never wanted to play wheelchair tennis to start with, So as I was at high school, I was in matric when wheelchair tennis came. I was kind of forced to go and try it out because I don't know how long has it been in the country before I went to try it. But, one of the teachers came to me to be like, you are going to Pretoria, there's a wheelchair tennis, camp going on. And I was just like, I don't play wheelchair tennis. And I'm not even interested. But he wasn't asking me. He was telling me, you are going to be one of the lenders who are going to Pretoria to try out this thing because it's new, you know. So, just because I was in matric, I was just like, whatever. I can just go do this and come back. Next year I'm leaving. So it's not much of a big deal. So that's where it all started. But obviously going into varsity in the next year, I wanted to keep playing sport, just to keep active. But wheelchair tennis was only active sport for people with disability at that particular university. I went to University of Venda. So I didn't have much choice but just to play. But for me, it was just like a hobby. I'm just going to play after the classes, just, to keep this thing that I've been doing since the age of 12. I've been playing sports since the age of 12. So that's where it all started. And obviously, given the opportunity to travel while I was still in varsity with tennis, still I wasn't even considering it to be a career until I was finishing my studies. In 2009, I was doing my final year, and I remember then people at wheelchair tennis, they sat me down, convinced me that you can try it full-time in the next year since you won't be studying and see if you like it, So, it went in length for them, for me to be like, okay, it's fine, I'll try it out. Because I feel like that's where it all started. 2010, getting coaching full-time now, trying the sport. I started traveling to tournaments at the end of, that particular year. And I think I did well. I mean, I still went to Futures tournament, but because I was winning, that's when I felt like, I can actually do this thing, But I think 2013, that's where everything changed for me because playing my first Grand Slam in Australia.
That must have been crazy. Do you remember it? Is it like a vivid memory for you?
I mean, for me, it started as just any tournament. I thought I was just going to any tournament until I met that particular tournament at the Australian Open. And everyone is like, I need to go watch, Serena. I need to go watch Federer. I'm just like, who are these people? Why do you want to watch them? And I didn't even know it was a mixed tournament to start with. So there's wheelchair, there's able-bodied. I was like, who are this tournament? I went on Google and I'm like, this thing that I'm doing is a big deal. I thought we were just hitting balls over the net, trying to win. That's what I thought all along, until 2013. And in Australia, I'm like, geez, this is a big thing. It's even on Google, realizing who Serena is, who Roger is. I'm like, I think I need to take this thing serious. And that's where, everything quite changed for me, and I just felt like I need to start doing things in the right way. So this is just it's not just another trip. I'm not just getting on a flight. This is a big deal. So 2013, and I think I also had a good year because I was beating good players then, and I'm just like, the motivation was picking up, like I need to take it serious. And I remember I also made it to Roland Garros the same year. So it was quite a interesting year for me, but that's when I was like, I need to take it serious.
From my perspective, looking at that, it blows my mind, because there you are flying halfway across the world for this tournament that you're going to hit a few balls over the nets and see what happens, right? And fast forward 11 years, you've won Grand Slams. There's one that's eluded you, Australia, but I'm sure that's going to change. Was it a sort of feeling of, I need to take this serious, now what do I do next? Was it looking at who I can tap into to help me improve, what I need to learn? Because I imagine here's a girl from Limpopo playing in Melbourne, Australian Open 2013. It must have been quite overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah, look, by then, obviously 2013, when I'm like, I need to do this, I need to take it serious. I was just like, I need to train in the right way because I was in that space where I see what people are doing. So for me, it was like, oh, so that's how you prepare. Oh, so that's how you practice, you know? So me learning all those things, so were the things that I was willing to come back home and, implement in my own training regime or match preparations. So that's what I was really, really hoping for. But the difficulty back then, it was just training in a group setting, So it was quite difficult to do that. But to have tested or tasted a Grand Slam, for me, it was just that thing that I just want to be there, and finding out that you are there simply because you are in the top 8. So for me, I was just like, it's important to stay consistent in the top because that's the only way I'm going to play Grand Slams.
Yeah.
And back then, when we say top 8, meaning for you to qualify, you need to be in the top 7 because 8 is a wild card. So that was it for me. I need to stay in the top. Forget about winning Grand Slams. I know it's a big tournament. In my head, that wasn't even part of the plan that I want to win Grand Slam. I was just like, I want to play at this level, So that's where I was. So obviously when I came back home, things changed. Training regularly, putting more hours, trying to stay disciplined off court, on court. Yeah, I just didn't want to drop out of the top 7. I was like, I need to stay at the top no matter what happens. I need to push myself to get enough points to stay in the top. Winning Grand Slam wasn't part of it. All those things comes as I try to understand the sport better and I'm into it. I'm like, so this is how winning a Grand Slam is a big thing. So the goals just changes as I progress.
Yeah.
So but then I was just like, I need to do things differently and I need to stay at the top, and which is something that really happened for good years.
Yeah.
To remain consistent and play Grand Slams, because back then it wasn't easy. They only changed 3 years ago. The draws just got bigger 3 years ago. That it's 12, it's 16 draw. Before, you needed to be in the top 7 to get in. So you can imagine that pressure of knowing that when you go out, you need to do the best that you can to stay in the top.
Speaking of pressure, I mean, Roland Garros, 2013, your second slam, you're in the semi-finals. That was something else.
Look, those days, I wish I could go back there because I didn't know what pressure is. Like I'm saying, for me, tennis was just playing the ball over the net. That's all what it was for me. Just push hard, less mistake, get the ball over the net. So I didn't deal with much pressure by then, So I think that's why it was easy for me to really settle into the sports. And I think even those who convinced me, they just saw that talent and then they just felt like I can do it, So as I grew into the sport, I really had to back that talent with hard work. So it was quite great that I made a semi-final this year because that's when I started getting a lot of points, and with 100 points in Australia, semi-final in Roland Garros, that's when my ranking peaked, and that's how I got into the top. Yeah. And from there, I just had to maintain.
Speaking of maintain, I mean, like I said, there's 3 slams that you've won in the doubles. What's been your favorite so far?
Yeah, I think Wimbledon, man.
It's just a special place, right?
I think Wimbledon, there's something about Wimbledon. I've won the other 2 slams, but there's something about Wimbledon that make even people go like, woo-ha, So Wimbledon and its tradition, I don't know if it's one of the oldest slams that has been there, the tradition, and it's also one of the difficult slams for us, having to play on wheelchairs on grass. It's not easy, and I mean, Wimbledon is just one of my best. And I wouldn't have wished I could have won any other slam anywhere else other than at Wimbledon, because that sounds quite huge.
Take me there to Wimbledon. Dream with me a little bit here.
Yeah.
When you, as you say, I mean, on grass and the wheelchair is not easy, but it's the occasion, it's the history, it's the pure tennis, the whites, all that sort of stuff. What's it like going out onto court, serving first or receiving, whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's Wimbledon. It's quite special. The minute you are being escorted to the court, in the UK, wheelchair tennis is quite a big deal.
Yeah.
The crowds, we know there are going to be people, making noise on the sideline. How you prepare yourself to block that out, but at the same time, how you're going to engage the crowd. It's quite different because in Wimbledon, wheelchair tennis is the most watched, or compared to other slams,
Yes,
Wimbledon, that's where we are. We are quite watched as wheelchair tennis players, and also for me, considering that in the previous year we lost to the same pair, and both of us, we knew we were not feeling well, but we got pumped in that match. Obviously, coming into this match, we had our own mini excuses that we both not feeling well, but now this is the time, This is the time we need to fight as much as we can. I think for me, I felt the pressure on the second set. I mean, we won the first, I feel like we won the first set quite comfortably, but competitive. And on the second set, we lose the first game. That's my serve. I'm like, geez, I wasn't looking to go for 3 sets here, And when we were 2 love down, I'm like, to you, I think we just need to slow down the pace. They don't like that.
Yeah.
Let's just try and get one game, we go into 2-1, and then we just take it from there. So second set was quite a lot of pressure, Even worse, I was the one who had to serve for the for the match.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking, I just lost my first serve in this game, and now I'm the one to, But I was just like sitting there on the changeover, like visualize, you've got a good serve. You can really save this one out, So, and that's just what happened. I just came out, served an ace, I think, on the first serve. Served quite a difficult serve to Didier because it's almost difficult to ace Didier, but I served so well that she couldn't do much with the return. And I remember on the match point, they were rallying to you, it was just like, I was just like watching tennis. I was like, I wish you can give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, and when Yuska changed the direction, brought the ball to me, I'm like, I'm going to hit it short to Didier. I know Didier's going to come thinking to blast the ball. And the plan for me, if she hits it hard, I was just going to block it and lob it over her head because I know when she attacks, she gets too much onto the court. And she did exactly that. I just lobbed her and Yeske chased the ball and brought it back to me. And I was like, I'm just going to hit a drop shot. I know it's a risky shot. Just do it.
But it worked?
It worked because she chased and chased and chased and sliced. And then, because I was the one who sat at the court, I just looked at it and I just hear you say, come on. I was like, okay, it's done. Now I can breathe.
Absolutely.
But I had so much pressure, having to serve that game. But I'm grateful that I composed myself good enough to really play it out. And it's Wimbledon, man.
And Roland Garros and the US, I mean, there's just different feels, right? I mean, Roland Garros is also, it's the clay, it's all sorts of different things that go on at the same time.
Yeah, right? But, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have the same feel or magnitude or, it doesn't have the same feel as Wimbledon. And I feel like the eyes were just on us considering we lost last year at Wimbledon. At Roland Garros, I mean, we know the year before we came close, we lost in a tiebreak on the final set. We were leading and we still lost 10-8. So we actually knew that we can do this. We just need to keep our head into the game towards those when we did Roland Garros in the last year, I think we won it straight sets. So no problem, because we saw in the previous year. But it doesn't hold the same magnitude,
Okay.
The hype also, it's just not as encouraging as Wimbledon, So I don't know. I feel like in the UK they have built up this thing where wheelchair tennis is supported. I mean, in the US I can't even say much because we didn't play that match.
Yeah.
Our opponents pulled out, and then we happened to be the champions. So, and that's what makes us feel good for winning Wimbledon, because we couldn't play them there. We lost to them in Australia, and having to play them at Wimbledon, that was huge for us. That we couldn't beat them at an Australian Open. They beat us on grass. We believe they were the favorite on grass, considering how they beat us in the last year. So, yeah, it was just that. But it doesn't, the hype, it's not the same, man. It's not the same.
Well, you have the T-shirt and the trophy to show for it now. You've had a lot of success in doubles. Do you prefer doubles to the singles? And how different is the approach? Because the singles, it's just you.
Yeah.
Doubles, you have to communicate and have a partner that brings their A game each time.
Yeah, I mean, doubles are not even my favorite. You know, if you look at my doubles results, just happened like 2-3 years for now. Because after I got injured, I had a tennis elbow in 2022. And I was just like, I'm just kind of use doubles to get back into, the rhythm and, get myself back, into singles. But doubles are not really my favorite because it's difficult. When you play with someone who lives that far, you don't even have an opportunity to work on what the combinations. It's difficult to do that. Whenever we play doubles, me and you, everyone just brings their singles expertise into the game. So doubles has never been my favorite, never been something that I really taken serious, but because I was using it as a build-up to get back into my rhythm, into singles, I decided to give it a bit of more focus because it helps me play more matches. And it's good that Yu has been playing doubles she's been doing doubles for years and doing well for years, so she's quite good with that. And it works for me, I'm like, yes, it's doubles, slams, but the one I want, it's singles,
Okay.
Well, when I win singles Grand Slam, I'll be like, mission accomplished.
Tell me, how did you and Yui sort of link up? I mean, because it's been a successful partnership, and you seem to enjoy playing with one another.
Yeah, obviously, Yu is long-term partner. She retired at some point, and she was looking for someone to play with. I mean, I've always known Yu for years. We've been friends, off court. So, when this whole thing started, we were both not so keen. Like, what if we're not good at each other on court? What if it mess up the friendship off court? Those kind of things. So we were contemplating whether we should play together. But we gave it a try. And in the first year that we tried, it wasn't so good. And we were like, maybe it's not working. So that's how it all started. But because we were friends and we are just comfortable with each other, we just like, maybe let's give it some time and build it up and see how it goes. And that's just how it's
And I think it's gone pretty well.
Yeah, no, it did. 3 slams, it's not...
that's pretty good.
It's not nothing,
KG, I've got to ask you, and when you go and play in the slams, do you feel the love from South Africa? I mean, is it still very much that people are still learning about wheelchair tennis and KG, Montjane, and where she fits into the world?
Well, I think I feel the love when I do well, But, I am just grateful for all those media platforms who follow me when I'm out there and bringing the sport to the people, Because I think for me that's so important that when I'm out there and I'm being followed and some of these matches can be broadcasted here at home.
Yeah.
For me, that's what's important, to be able to get this game to the people so that the people knows about it. So I don't really have much expectations from the South Africans because most of them, they don't know. I feel like they don't follow a sport like tennis because it's not so big at the moment here at home. I hear it used to be big, but it's not so big at the moment. I don't know what happened to it. So for me, I just take joy in those media houses who are able to bring the sports to the people, because for me, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want someone out there to see that it can be done so that they can be motivated and be encouraged to to do it too. But I know when I win, I can feel the love. I'm like, oh, so tennis is being followed in the country. So it's almost like you have to win all the time, you know, which it's quite a difficult thing, because what goes into the background, yes, it's quite a lot for me to be able to come on top at the end of the day. Yeah, it just takes a lot. That's the work that people don't see, and sometimes it's quite weird to see that people cherish you when you do well, you know. And for what makes one to do well, it's just all those struggles behind the scene, you know. So, but yeah, what matters for me is that from media perspective, I'm happy with what they're doing, getting the sports to the people, you know, and just hoping for the best, that we can have one youngster who's going to come out and do better than what KG did.
Do you feel a responsibility in a way to pave the way for that youngster, that KG that's in Limpopo or wherever it may be, the Eastern Cape? Because I feel that there's KG up here, but little is being done to get the next KG sorted.
Definitely, I feel responsible for that, and it also gives me so much pressure, because at the same time I feel like I need to do super well, because if people are going to know who KG is, there need to be results to show for that. You can play tennis, or you can play wheelchair tennis, and you can achieve so much. Even if it's able-bodied people, for them to play wheelchair tennis, they need to be like, oh, this is a success that I can actually achieve, you know. So yeah, I feel a sense of responsibility there, that I need to hang in there until I can see there's hope, or something will come out of it. Someone will be encouraged to take up the sport. At the moment, I feel like I don't even have a reason to quit until I know that there's definitely someone coming up, you know, to fill up that space. Because I just don't want to see me vanish on the space and there's no one, you know. Mostly at the level that I play at, I'm just like, it won't be nice. So I feel like for me to leave a legacy, I need to do this until someone comes up. And I also feel responsible that I need to dedicate time to go out there and make sure that, it happens. So there's so much that I need to change. Yet at the same time, I'm still actively playing, trying to do well and have good results.
I love the fact that you say there's no reason to quit until you know the next person is knocking on the door, representing South Africa at these slams. And I'm going to let the cat out the bag here, and I hope you don't mind, because we've obviously been chatting about a tennis court in your home province, in your hometown, in Limpopo. How is that coming about? Because I imagine that it's something that's much needed in your community. It also gives kids, abled and disabled, an opportunity to experience tennis, because in South Africa, as we all know, soccer, rugby, cricket, athletics dominates.
Yeah. Well, that's something that I'm working on. I wasn't ready to say working on a foundation coming up, because I just want it to be one of a kind, and obviously with this foundation, it's just about sports development, you know, and most importantly, just erecting those facilities in those disadvantaged communities. And the most important thing, to have sustainable programs, you know. So there's a lot of work that's going to go into it, skill development, because a sports like tennis, you can't just put out the tennis court out there. You need a qualified coach to be making sure that the kids do the right thing, the program is being run the right way. So that's what the foundation is all about, you know, sports development, skill development, sustainable programs. And with that, obviously hoping we can, you know, identify a lot of talent and, you know, build champions. And honestly, just give other kids an opportunity to play a sport like tennis. Like when we are out here in the big cities, all these facilities are anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
So if any kid in the big city, it's not getting it right. For me, it's just a matter of maybe it's a funding issue, but it's not a facility issue. I look at my journey. I started where there was no facilities, but that didn't mean there was no talent in those disadvantaged areas. So I'm so curious to see, once those facilities are there, what can come out of it. And for me to know or to find out, it's if I can do something about it. So yeah, plenty of things. Well, obviously with the foundation, there's just much bigger picture that I want to achieve. But for now, it's just getting it off the ground and taking it from there. But it's all about bringing change and impacting, lives.
If you're a company out there and you want to get involved, please reach out to KG. She's on social media, or reach out on this platform, and we're happy to put you in touch, because I think funding is one thing, and I think one facility is not going to be enough. I think you need to be putting these all over South Africa and the rest of the African continent, because KG, you're a global superstar, and you inspire so many people each time you take to the court. I think it's a good thing to have other big corporates getting involved in this space, because it's not easy from a funding point of view, as you well know, to get to slams, to get to training, to have a coach, to be able to get transport to get to training.
Definitely. And obviously at the moment, I'm grateful for all the sponsors that I have, that contributed this far. I'm still doing it with the bare minimum, but I make it work. I'm not complaining. It works. It works for me. How I can tailor it with what I get from the sponsors, it works for me. And it's just one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because when corporate companies are engaging to partner with me, that's what I want for the new generation, to know that if they take up a sport like tennis, they will be supported, So that's just one of the main reasons why I'm doing it, also to encourage these corporate companies to take us in, because not all of us were going to be CEOs. That's why sports exist. One has to do it. So why not give one that opportunity to really, do that? So I just hope with what I'm doing, it can just pave a way in that form, so that the young ones can be encouraged, that they'll be supported. But yeah, like you said, with the foundation, it will take that funding for it to be well done. So
I've no doubt it's going to be a huge success, KG. Take me back to growing up. I don't think I would ever even begin to imagine what you went through growing up, and how tough it has been. And within your community too, was it a case of just getting on with life? Because you said to me, tennis wasn't even on your radar until much later on in life.
Yeah, most definitely. I was born with a congenital disability, and I grew up in the rural areas where everything is quite far, Going to the clinic, the hospital, everything's far. The schools, everything was far. And that's why my parents decided to take me to a special school. When the head of the school on the radio, they were like, oh, this will be the perfect school to take here, because everything was just like in the same premises. It was a boarding school for people with physical disabilities. So it was just quite a good environment for me to go there, because where I was coming from, everything was quite far. I mean, even if I wanted to play, I was just like playing in front of the yard. Because of my disability, I just couldn't walk any further than, like 200 meters or 100 meters. It was just difficult for me to walk until I went to that school. And that's where, seeing different doctors, that's how my leg was amputated, for me to be on a prosthetic leg. So it wasn't easy. And back in the days, when someone gave birth to a kid with disability, it used to be a taboo. Some of the kids back in the days were robbed of their childhood because they had to be hidden, because they couldn't be seen by the society, because it was a taboo. So I'm just grateful for my parents that they gave me an opportunity of life. They put me out there, and that's something that I'm always grateful for. And because in that particular school, I've learned so much as a person, and having to see what other kids with disability could do, it motivated me to be better as an individual. It built my self-confidence. When I came out of that school, I feel like I was complete. I didn't see myself any differently, So, but yeah, it was just tough being in the rural areas with disabilities, people staring all the time, people feeling sorry. And as a kid, you're just so confused, people not wanting to play with you. You don't understand. But yeah, I'm grateful for that environment that my parents took me into, because it has built me up.
And I think you can be incredibly proud of your journey, because, from where you went into that school to where you are now, you're a beacon of hope. You are an example of someone who can overcome anything and play on the biggest stage of them all. So hats off to you, KG. It's phenomenal. And I think that's a message that needs to be communicated in our communities. I think it's still a taboo these days when you have a kid born with a disability, regardless of where that community is in South Africa. It's still, sorry, and,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think people need to come to realize that disability is just a condition. I know it comes in different form, but at the end of the day, it's just a condition.
Yeah.
The one thing to do with that condition is just to let the person be, because it doesn't mean they are not talented or they don't have abilities. If you rob them of all that opportunity for them to express themselves, you wouldn't know what abilities they have, So for me, I just feel like when my parents let me be out there in the world, that's when they realize how much I can do and what abilities I have, the talent that they didn't see coming also. So I just feel like people with disabilities need to just be given a chance to be themselves, because disability is just a condition. That human they can do so much more, but if you don't give them an opportunity, you would think that, yeah, they deserve to be in a wheelchair, they can't do anything. But it's just what the world has perceived us, to be. But we are much more than that.
Do you get kids asking you, parents asking you for advice along the way, considering how far you've come?
Yeah, I do. Like when I do my talks, I think people are just so fascinated with the level of confidence that I have. And for me, it's always that, I was born with disability. That's my normal. I don't know anything other than that. If you tell me about someone running with 2 feet, I don't know what you're talking about, because that's their normal. I don't know that. And I wouldn't feel otherwise about that, because I don't know how it feels to be like that, So I do to talk to a lot of people about that, but also making them be aware that disability is different. If you are born with it, that's your normal. If it catch up with you as a grown-up, it's a different story, because you were born this way, now you have to adapt. It's a different story. Yeah. For those who got caught up with it, it's difficult for them to adapt, because that's not what they know. But for me, you might think it's easy for me. It's my normal. It has to be like that. I don't know anything other than that. But for someone who caught up, I would understand why it's so difficult for them. And people be like, why can't they be like you? No, they cannot be like me, because they're not used to be like that. So it takes a lot of work with those who got caught up with disability for them to see the world positively, So, yeah, I, for one, came across those. You have to encourage them to really think positive about it, to see it as a second chance to life. But it's difficult for them. Yeah. But it's not the same for me. For me, this is how I've been. I don't feel like there's a barrier or anything. Yeah. I've always navigated life this way. But for those ones who got caught up with it, it is difficult. And yeah, some parents, it's so difficult for them to understand. They wish, I wish my kid was like you. But yeah, for me, I'm just like, it will take time to adapt. It will take time to adapt. It's not an easy thing. So that requires a lot of patience. So, but yeah, I'm glad people like me are there. We can help them navigate that.
So am I, because you're an inspiration, and yeah, I'm just blown away at what you've achieved. I think after first meeting you in 2016 to where you are now, I've just been so impressed. And I wish you more success. Speaking of adapting, 2024 was a tough year. You lost your mum. And it had a direct impact on your tennis. You then picked yourself up and went to Masters in Holland, where you performed really well. How difficult has this period been for you, KG? Because I can only imagine having such a powerful role model in your life, not being there anymore, must have really hit you hard.
Yeah, it is. It hard. I mean, it's still hard. I'm the firstborn of the three of us. So you can imagine, I didn't spend so much time at home, being the one who doing the traveling, trying to figure out the career, And the 1 year whereby I'm starting to do well, and I'm trying to bring my mom into the picture, because I'm sure a lot of people have been curious, who gave birth to this star, That's just 1 year where I'm like, Mom, you have to be part of this. And that's just the 1 year where things just take a different direction. So yeah, it's really been hard. It's still hard. So, getting up, going to training. Some days I feel like I can do it. Some days I'm just like, I'm just faced with this responsibility of being a parent right now. I don't know how I'm gonna navigate that. It's difficult, but because I've always been a disciplined athlete, I try to pick myself up. And the reason I went to the Masters is because I was starting to get a bit worried about, my tennis, where is it? Because my training hasn't been, where it used to be. So I was just like, go out and see where you are, and I'm clear that it hasn't left me yet. I just hope that I can, I can gather the strength and courage to get back to my normal training regime. Yeah, I'm back to training, but it's not as good as it used to be. But I'm just trying to embrace whatever I'm going through. It's quite a process. But yeah, I just hope someday I'll just be able to fully get back into it. But I'm just grateful that I'm here, and I was born with this talent, and probably it's my purpose to serve, so that's what I can be grateful for, that the woman that brought me into this life brought me with this talent that God has given me. So maybe I need to continue serving. So hope that strength can come back, and then I can resume into my normal routine. But I know it will be different. It will never be the same.
No, of course. But I couldn't think of a better way to pay tribute to your mom than by playing tennis, than realizing that dream, that talent that you've got. So watch out, everyone at the Australian Open. KG, what motivates you? What inspires you? Is there a player out there that you look up to, that you've admired, someone that, gives you that little bit of inspiration or strength? Or is it someone who's closer to home? Is it a family figure?
Look, it has always been my mom. Like, when I talk about being given an opportunity of life, that has always been my mom, not being ashamed to put me out in the world, to have shared me with the people. That's something that really inspires me so much, because today I'm here, got myself into something that I didn't know what it was. And today I feel solely responsible to make change through it. I'm just like, if she didn't give me that opportunity to be out there, I wouldn't be where I am. Maybe you could have been, I don't know, somewhere back home, not have went to school, not have bumped into a sport like tennis. I don't know.
Yeah.
But here I am today. And if there's one person I have to be grateful for, it's her. I didn't grow up with TV. I didn't know what tennis was until I got into the sport. So never watched it on TV. For me to sit here and be like, Serena inspires me, I would really be lying. But getting into the sport and seeing a player like Esther Frechia, I was like, I want to be as good as her, But those are not people that I grew up like watching.
Yeah.
So I grew up watching soccer like anyone else. If we talked about sport, for me, we would have talked about football, rugby.
Who was the team that you supported? Who do you still support? I mean, I can't. We live in South Africa. It's the biggest sport in the country.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one big team in the country.
Oh, drop it on me.
We know when it comes to football in South Africa, there's only one big team in South Africa. No matter how bad it does, it will remain one of the biggest teams. The only team that sell out the tickets, whether it wins, it loses. Yeah, it makes sure that other teams benefits when they play them. So you're going to have to take a guess which team is that. Which team is that?
It's a team you've supported day one?
Yeah, from day one. Love and peace any day, every day. We lose, we win. It's just love and peace, Yeah.
And tell me, is there a player that you grew up looking at going, that's a phenomenal player, I want to, like they're the type of player that inspires you or, gets you excited about football matches?
Yeah, I mean, back in the days, if you think about, Team War, there was Brian Baloyi in it, Max Maponyane in it. I mean, that used to make me look forward to watching a football match on a weekend, So.
And did the whole rest of the house, were they also Amakosi fans?
I mean, I didn't even have TV at home. Like at school, it was just like a thing. I'm not from a sporty family, actually.
Okay.
To be honest, I'm not from a sporty family. They don't give a damn about sport. It was my mom who was trying to get into it because I'll be watching a test cricket the whole day, and she'll be like, why does this thing play the whole day? And she was starting to understand cricket. She grew a love for cricket, So with tennis, it was still coming up, but yeah, it's too complicated. But I'm not from a sporty family. It was just me on weekends when I want to watch.
Sure.
They will join a bit, but I'm not from a sporty family, so I'm just the only one who's always
it's changed
been crazy.
now. You the sporty one.
Yeah, so I'm the one who's always been crazy about sport, to be honest. But yeah, back into the days, Brian Baloyi, yeah, even though when he left Kaizer Chiefs for Sundowns, it was like, but yeah, Spider-Man.
So what do you make of Kaizer Chiefs at the moment? I mean, there's the new coaching staff have come in. It's been okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've been shaky for quite some time now. But I think, patience will do them good. But because it's a big club that is also influenced by the fans, the fans have such an influence on Kaizer Chiefs. But I feel like, as an athlete, as I understand, I think they need to be patient and trust the process. Because if you look at it for the past years, the coaches that have been coming in, it's just like you don't deliver, you go. You don't deliver, you go. I don't see where a coach has been given like a grace period of 3 years to work on what we need, So people just been coming out and going. So you can't trust the process if things are going like that. So they will require patience and know that in that process, things are not going to be rosy. And for the team to pick up, they need to go through that down, the lows.
There's been a lot of lows, though.
Yeah, simply because they haven't been patient with.
But Amakosi fans are not patient.
They are not. That's a thing. And also, Chiefs is a big team. For me, I also feel like they buy all these players. When they buy them, they are good where they're coming from. But Chiefs is a big team. That batch is heavy. So when you are saying, yes, I'm going to play Kaizer Chiefs, you need to understand the heaviness of that badge, because that's also what weighs you down. You need to develop a strength to be like, I'm gonna outperform the badge. So I feel like the players also need to, mentally, they really need to get themselves through that. That's a big club.
So where are they finishing this season?
Oh.
Realistically, what do you think?
I mean, realistically, I'll be like, top 8 is the least that they can do, because they're playing in patches right now. They're not playing bad football. They're just playing in patches, and I feel like the coach will eventually find a great combination of his starting 11 and his substitute, because we can see how he's playing around with his players at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. The minute he gets his solid substitute and his best 11, I think they're playing good football. But they need to, I feel like the players need to work harder mentally to support the coach.
Well,
because whenever things goes down, you can see how much concentration leaves them. So they're playing for a big team, so they need to embrace that and try to outperform the batch.
We've got a few more minutes left before I let you go. You mentioned Formula One before we started. Is that something you'll watch every race? Are you a proper petrol head fan? Tell me a bit more, Kg.
Yeah, I watch every race, and I can't wait for Lewis to go to Ferrari, man. I'm so excited with that. It's been past painful 2 years.
Lewis Hamilton and Kaiser Chiefs, not a lot to celebrate for you guys of late, eh?
But I mean, that's where when you know what makes people great.
Yeah.
Is those downs, the lows that one encounters along the way. So even Kaiser Chiefs, when it comes up, people won't believe it. With Lewis, without a doubt. Next year,
pushing for the title? You think he's going to give Max a go?
Of course, he will. This year, we don't want to get into the controversies with the Mercedes team, the speculations and what. We don't want to get into that. We're just happy the season is over, and I'm just happy he's moving away. After that, Abu Dhabi 21, yeah, I think he deserves better. So if we get into it, yeah.
So have you bought the Ferrari kit yet, and all the merch?
Definitely. The only thing I can't afford is a Ferrari, man.
Oh, if you win a few more slams, who knows, KG? Last two questions. What does 2025 look like to you from a success point of view? What are your objectives? What are you hoping to get out of 2025?
Look, tennis-wise, I just need to put my head into it. I want to win that single slam. I feel like that's also something that's, beside me serving the purpose, that's something that's holding on to me to really get this through. I just want to win that singles Grand Slam. And I really hope and wish it happens in this next year. So, just willing to work my head down and try to get that one done. So for me, it's a single slam or nothing. Don't even care about winning any other titles. So my focus going to this year, but at the same time, I need to manage that level of pressure, that it doesn't be the one that, push me down, but rather be the pressure that's going to elevate me to really do well. So just one of the things when coming to my tennis career, but also the foundation. Want the foundation to come to life, because, I'm starting to get a bit worried, because also age is not my age. I know with wheelchair tennis, I can still play longer, but I feel like something that's going to be exciting for me, that's going to also motivate me to keep pushing tennis. It's getting that foundation going, because I don't want to be the only one playing tennis at that level,
I understand.
Yeah, so those are just the biggest thing that I really want to get it done in 2025.
And what is the advice or the mantra that you live by going into the new year, and that you hope inspires you to go and reach these dreams? And because I have no doubt that they will happen. Yeah,
look, for me, obviously, I just need to realize in the process that pressure is a privilege, and also to be kind to myself. When things are not working out, shouldn't bash myself, but rather be kind to myself. When the foundation is not picking up, remember to trust the process and be patient. Because if I can, live within those things, I think it will make life much better. Because when I remain kind to myself, I know mentally I can be good. Because if I'm not kind to myself and the pressure is not a good pressure, then things might go worse. So but also embracing whatever comes my way, be the negative, be the positive. When it's the negative, just try to channel that sort of energy in the right direction.
What's your advice to Chiefs and Lewis Hamilton in 2025?
To trust the process. Trust the process. With Kaizer Chiefs, trust the process. Be patient, you know. Yeah, Kaizer Chiefs needs to be patient. They know they're great, you know. We know Lewis is great, you know. And this new generation of players at Kaizer Chiefs, they shouldn't feel a pressure that people before them, they did it so well, but they need to believe in themselves that they can even be better. It's like I'm saying that, yes, KG is there, but I'm worried that no one is coming. But whoever is coming, I want that person to be greater than me.
Sure.
So even those players, they need to tell themselves they want to be greater than those who are regarded as great, you know. So it's about trusting the process.
KG Montjane, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Congrats on all the success in 2024. We look forward to more success in 2025. And we can't wait to see that foundation launched and to have kids playing tennis in Polokwane, in your province of Limpopo, and doing your name proud.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, and keep up the great work. Travel safe to Australia, and we'll be watching early hours. We'll have to wake up and get some coffee. Thank you very much for watching the Sias du Plessis show. Thank you to everyone that has liked and subscribed. We really do appreciate it, and we hope that 2025 is a great year and that you're ready to really go to that next level. We'll be bringing you lots of more guests, more shows. Don't go anywhere. Like and subscribe right here to the Sias du Plessis show.